The human soldier saved the alien princess and was declared a hero lieutenant. Jake Morrison never expected his routine patrol mission to turn into something from a storybook. But fate had other plans when his small reconnaissance ship detected a distress signal coming from the frozen moon of Arcturus 7. The signal was weak and broken, but Jake could make out enough to know someone needed help desperately, and he wasn't the type to ignore a call for aid, even if it meant going against protocol and venturing into uncharted territory alone. His ship touched down on the icy surface near the source of the transmission, and what he found made his blood run cold in the wreckage of an elegant spacecraft, unlike anything he'd seen before. Lay several bodies of tall, graceful beings with pale blue skin and silver hair surrounding a single survivor. She was beautiful in an otherworldly way, her large violet eyes filled with pain and fear as she tried to crawl away from the flames consuming. Her ship and Jake didn't hesitate for a second before rushing to pull her from the burning wreckage, just as an explosion sent debris flying in all directions. The alien woman was injured badly with deep gashes across her side and a broken leg, but she looked at Jake with such gratitude and trust that something shifted in his chest, and he knew he had to save her no matter what it took. He carried her back to his ship, speaking softly in English, even though he had no idea if she could understand. Him telling her she would be okay, that he wouldn't let her die out here alone in the cold back on his ship. Jake worked frantically with the limited medical supplies he had, cleaning her wounds and stabilizing her condition as best he could, and all the while she watched him with those striking violet eyes, never once crying out in pain, despite how much it must have hurt. It took 3 days to reach the nearest human outpost, and during that time, Jake learned that the woman he saved was named Lyra, and she was no ordinary alien, but a princess of the Valtorian Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. She taught him some of her language, and he taught her more of his, and through broken conversations and hand gestures, they formed an unlikely bond that transcended their different worlds. Lyra told him about the ambush that destroyed her convoy, how enemies of her father, the Emperor, had attacked without warning, killing her guards and nearly killing her too. And Jake told her about Earth, about his family, and why he became a soldier to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. When they finally arrived at the human station, the doctors were amazed that Jake had managed to keep Lyra alive with such basic equipment, and her injuries healed quickly thanks to advanced Valtorian medicine that arrived shortly after. But the real surprise came when a massive Valtorian warship appeared in orbit, carrying the Emperor himself, who had been searching desperately for his missing daughter. The Emperor was the imposing figure, tall and regal with the same violet eyes as his daughter. But where Lyra's gaze was soft, his was sharp and commanding, and Jake felt small, standing before such power. Yet when the Emperor learned what Jake had done, how he risked his life to save Lyra without knowing who she was or what reward might come, he did something unexpected, and he knelt before the human soldier in a gesture of deep respect. The Emperor declared that Jake Morrison would be honored as a hero of the Valtorian Empire, the first human ever to receive such recognition, and he would be given a place of honor in their society for as long as he lived. More than that, the Emperor offered humanity a treaty of alliance and friendship, opening doors that had been closed for centuries and bringing two civilizations together in peace and cooperation. Jake tried to refuse the honors, saying he only did what anyone should do, but Lyra took his hand and told him that not everyone would have stopped to help a stranger, and that his kindness deserved to be celebrated. In the months that followed, Jake became something of a celebrity, visiting the Valtorian homeworld and being treated like royalty himself. But what mattered most to him was the friendship he had formed with Lyra. She showed him the wonders of her world, the floating crystal cities, and the gardens that glowed in the dark, and he showed her the simple beauties of Earth, the ocean at sunset, and the smell of rain on summer grass. People whispered that there was something more than friendship between the human soldier and the alien princess. And perhaps they were right, but Jake and Lyra didn't rush to define what they had. They simply enjoyed each other's company, knowing that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a single act of kindness, and that heroes aren't born from seeking glory, but from choosing to help when it would be easier to walk away. And so the story of how Lieutenant Jake Morrison saved Princess Lyra became legend, told across both human and Valtorian space as proof that compassion knows no boundaries, and that sometimes the bravest thing a soldier can do is extend a hand in friendship rather than raise a weapon. Invar,